What is up, Matuire fam? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. For those of you that don't know, my name is Antonio Matuire and I own a 2018 BMW M3. So I really just started modding my F80. I actually got it not too long ago. The only thing I've done to it so far is just the front lip. But in that video, I did kind of tease a little bit that the front lip looks good, but it would look even better if the car was lowered. So in today's video, we are doing exactly that. So in this video, we'll actually be lowering the F80 on some EMD Springs. So honestly, I did read a lot of good things about the EMD Springs when it comes to comfortability as well as daily drivability. Now I know a lot of you guys are wondering why I didn't just go coilovers on this build, but honestly I wouldn't want to put any coilover on this car unless it was KWs, and we all know how expensive those can be. So maybe in the future when I have a little more money to spend, I'll go coilovers, but these EMD Springs are definitely going to do the trick for right now. Overall, I'm really excited to get these springs on the car because, like I said before, not a fan of wheel gap, and with the front lip being as aggressive as it is, I think the car definitely needs to be a little lower to the ground for it to look right. Now these springs do claim to drop the front about 1.3 inches and then the rear 0.3 inches. Now they do come with the spacer for the rear. As mentioned before, with the spacer it drops the rear about 0.3, but without the spacer you're looking at about 0.9 inches. For me, this is a daily driver, so I'm not trying to achieve a super low look. I really just want to eliminate the wheel gap, so we're going to install the spacers. But before we jack up the car, I did want to measure the wheel gap in the front as well as in the back just to see the difference once we lower it. And I'm also going to measure how much clearance I have from my front lip to the ground now, as well as after the lowering springs are installed. All right, so pull out the tape measure. We're going to go ahead and measure from the ground to the fender. So right now at stock ride height, just right above 27.5 inches. You guys can see that. So let's go ahead and do the rear. It's like back here in the rear, about 26 3/4 looks like. Not expecting the rear to drop too much because the fitment is already pretty nice in the back, but it'll close up that tiny gap right here. And we'll go ahead and measure from the lowest part of my lip, which is kind of right here on the side. We are sitting at about 5.5 inches off the ground right now. I'm gonna start back here on this passenger rear side just because it's a lot easier than the fronts, and on the passenger side there's no headlight leveling sensor like there is on the driver's side, so this is literally the easiest one to start on. And it is simple as that. Now I should be able to go ahead and lower this jack and pull the spring out. Damn, these bushings look like ass. So the stock spring compared to the EMD, nice little drop. I like how these ones are finished in like a gloss black to keep that OEM look. Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference in between the two. Oh. And also don't forget this part. It tends to get stuck in there just because all the weight and pressure on your vehicle. But this part is where you're gonna put that spacer on top of, so don't forget that. So it's gonna go just like that. And use common sense, y'all. If you're installing these yourself at home, make sure you're installing it to where you can read the words and the words aren't upside down. Oh damn, and it's rolling away. So theoretically, it should be a lot easier since the spring is smaller, right? Why you doing this to me? Why you doing this to me, man? There we go. Damn. Alright, and as you guys can see, the new spring is installed. Really all that we were working with was this bolt right here. And then obviously the nut on the other side. I'm just gonna torque it down to spec. Woo! God damn. So up top, it's not gonna be that much harder, to be honest. But we're gonna start off by taking off this little plastic cover, as well as these little plastic retainers. Take this off. This comes out. Alright, my bad, y'all. I look like a hot mess right now, but my camera actually died for that last part. If you guys do want to see how I got the spring off of the front one, I was actually able to record it on my phone, so it will be on my TikTok. I'll go ahead and leave that right there if you guys want to check it out. And I already repeated the same steps on the other side, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these wheels back on and see how much it lowered. Sir, look at that. And obviously they're not even settled yet, so they're gonna settle even more. Now obviously the springs are gonna need some time to settle, so I'm actually gonna come back out here tomorrow morning and measure again to see if it's gotten any lower. Alright, y'all, it has approximately been about 2 weeks now. I know I said a few days, but I have been super busy. But the good news is, since it has been 2 weeks and I've actually driven it a few times, I know for a fact that these springs are settled now. So let's go ahead and get some measurements. All right, once again, to keep the consistency, we're gonna measure on the same side. Tape on the ground. Looks like we're sitting right at the 5th notch, past 26. So definitely an improvement. And moving on to the rear. Tape measure on the ground, coming up, almost at 26 and a half. Almost. Let's go ahead and measure it from the front. I know we measured from right here last time. So measuring it from the ground, it looks like we're right below 4 inches. And I know for a fact, it was at least 6 before we started. All right, so I'm actually coming to you guys from my garage the night before a trip. So with that being said, I haven't had time to get the car out and do a nice little cinematic for you guys like I always do. But here's a quick look at it from inside the garage. So here is another angle. You guys can see the full car from here. It sits really nice in my opinion. Definitely eliminated the wheel gap in the front. I put my finger on the fender and push straight back. You'll see that my finger just barely grazes the top of that tire. In the rear, pretty much same deal. If I put my finger on the fender and then push straight back, it actually touches the tire. If you guys missed that earlier in the video, I did install it with the spacers. If you did want to install it without the spacers, it will drop the vehicle in the rear to where your fender kind of sits over your tire, and that's the look you're going for. But overall, I think it's a perfect drop. I've seen a lot of M3s dropped on EMD Springs, and they all look super good in my opinion. I do have a TikTok video that I posted of the car after it settled, so if you guys want to check out what it looks like now, go ahead and check me out on TikTok, or just follow me on Instagram. Once I get back from Texas, I'll be posting lots of pictures of how the car sits now. But just like that, that wraps up today's video. If you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. You don't want to miss this build. I have a lot planned for it, and I still have a lot more parts coming in for it. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It helps me out tremendously, and my channel helps this video get out to other viewers out there that might be interested in the same type of content you are. But as always, Matwire fam, remember your goals and don't stop until you reach them. Peace.
Excited just to see me, wish I felt the same way. Later on she'll probably get a name change. People changing on me like they gain weight. I wish that I waited on the same